Good morning. Anyways, okay, I'm back. Hello, everyone. How are you guys? Happy New Year. I look. Okay. Happy New Year, everybody. If you are representing a registered student organization, don't forget to put the name of your student organization in the chat. Also, my voice is a little bit hoarse. Please be patient with me. How are y'all doing? I see Amanda from our Senate. We love to see that. I see a dear Christelle. Hello. Hi, dear. Thanks for turning on your.
What's going on here, bro? What's up?
What's up, dude? You stay responding to my Instagram posts. This is why you're my favorite student. Let's see. What's up, Brandon? What's up, Randall? Feroz. Hello, Catherine. Hello, everyone. I hope y'all had a happy New Year. And I hope y'all are ready for the first day of school. I'm not, but we're here, so let's make the most of it. Yeah, I'm gonna wait one more minute. We're really close to quorum, guys. We're at 39. Oh, well. Anyways, who's that? Okay.
Hey, what's going on, Feroz?
What's up, Nadir? How's it going? And hi, Hiba.
Good to see you.
Hello, Feroz.
Happy New Year to all of you.
Wearing my I Heart UHCL shirt.
Oh, that is
the vibes. First day of school. Yeah, are y'all excited for the first day of school? What classes are y'all taking? Actually, don't tell me. Just kidding. Don't tell me that. I'm taking a lot of classes.
How many classes are you taking this semester?
Either 15 or 18. And I do realize that's a big difference, but I don't remember.
That's cool.
Yeah, what's up, Brandon? I love the participation. I see your camera on. We love to see it. All right, the time is 11:33, so I'm going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. All right. Okay, the time is 11:33, and I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. So, hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope everybody had a great break. I hope you all got some much needed rest. So we have a few things to talk about. We do have a presentation from the VP of Administration and Finance to talk about tuition and fee increases. Really important presentation. But I think Mr. Denny is not on the call yet, so we're going to table his agenda item till he gets here. So I thought I would talk to you guys until then about how you guys can get involved. So I still don't have any VPs. If you're interested in being vice president, committee coordinator, vice president of outreach and communications, vice president of administration, please submit an application. They're all available and get involved. If you're interested in serving on a committee, if you have questions about what people on committees do, you basically serve with a group of people and they are all in charge of making decisions about a certain thing on campus. So for example, there's a parking and transportation committee, and there's going to be members of the faculty and staff on there, and there's going to be student representatives on there as well. So it's really important that we have students on these committees, so that way, nominate a dear. I think it's really important that we have students on these committees, because that way we can make sure that the student's voice is heard when making all of these decisions. Right now, we definitely don't have enough students, and these positions I would say are pretty low commitment. I think you only have to come to max like 4 to 5 meetings a semester. So if you're interested, applications for that are available and get involved as well. Now quorum. Quorum is something that we have been struggling with since 2020. And a quorum for this semester is 43 registered student organizations. So for those of you guys who might not remember, a little recap. quorum is basically the number of organization representatives we need to have at a meeting in order to conduct official business. So, for example, we have a fund request on our agenda for next week, but I had to email the person and let them know that if we don't meet quorum, we're not going to be able to vote. So, if we don't have representatives from at least 43 student organizations, we will not be able to vote on things or stuff like that or pass amendments, any official business. So help us meet quorum, bring people, guys. And then for old business, I thought I would go in and talk about the constitutional amendments. I don't want to vote on it now, just because I want to give you guys a reminder. I don't think it's fair if the last meeting, which was like 2 months ago, I make y'all remember everything and we vote on it now. So I'm just going to remind you guys what are the two propositions I presented on the last SGA meeting that we had for the fall semester. And then we can probably vote on them next week. So the first proposition was to replace the following. So as you can see, it says all student government association executive council members must be currently enrolled UHCL students. I would like to cross out and must have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher at the time of election and replace it with must be in good academic standing with the University of Houston Clear Lake and must be an officially designated organization representative. Blah, blah, blah. So the reason why is because I feel like when we remove the GPA requirement, we're casting the net wider. So we're allowing more students to apply. A lot of our students sometimes haven't been to school in a while, and God knows what the GPA was like way long ago, and that's not necessarily a reflection of their abilities at this moment in time. So, like I said, to cast the net wider, we just want to make sure that the students are in good academic standing with the university, which is, I believe, above like a 2.0 or maybe a 2.5. But yeah, that's that. And then the second proposition is with the same exact line, the same exact section from the Constitution, but to take out the must be an officially designated organization representative of a recognized UHCL student organization. The reason why is because it's already a lot to be president of the student government organization. I can't be a member of another organization. I have too much going on. So, and I think I've been in student government for 2 years as well. And this is a problem that we've run into for a while. It does make sense because it helps you reach quorum. So that's something to keep in mind. But at the same time, it's a lot of work. So those are my propositions. Does anybody have any questions about these or comments or concerns or doesn't like anything? Right, that sounds good. Feroz, look at that. Here we are with Global Buddies. Feroz, you want to go ahead and take over?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just quickly share my screen? Do I have the privilege to share my screen?
Yes. Can we make him co-host?
Awesome. I see that I can. So bear with me. All right. I'm going to ask a very stupid question. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. So as you can see, this is a beautiful flyer for a program that I want to introduce. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see the chat platform because I'm sharing my screen. So for here, what we have is a Global Buddies. So Global Buddies is a very new program which matches international students with domestic or American students. So it has an opportunity of building relationship, creating global engagement, kind of like intercultural dialogues. So what we're looking for is, we're looking for somewhere around 27 to 30 domestic and American students. So we already have 27 international students who have already applied for the program. So we're looking for another 27 to 30 American or domestic students to apply for the program. So all you would have to do is email me So in this program, it's a 4-week session. There's going to be 3 virtual sessions where you will attend on Thursday at 2 p.m. And out of those 4 sessions, there's going to be 1 where we will be taking you to Johnson Space Center, so which is basically NASA. So if you are a student who have never been to NASA and would like to hop on this free trip, all you would have to do is email me and say you're interested on making virtual friends or anything like that. So the only thing I would say is if you are a student who are in their last semester, right? Because if you're a student who have a lot of things going on, you're about to graduate, you're looking for jobs, I think that would be the only disadvantage for this program, right? Like I have a lot going on and I won't be able to apply. Totally understandable. But if you're someone who is like, no, even though I'm in my last semester and I want to fully utilize the UATL experience, you're more than welcome to, but I highly wouldn't encourage you to apply for it. Well, there's no expectation if you're a student who are in their last semester. However, if you're a student who are in their first year, second, third, please do apply. Our international students are looking forward to build a relationship, are looking forward to exchange culture, ideas. So hopefully there's a way for this bridge to take place in connecting with more students. And yeah, so just wanted to share that out. So I'm going to quickly stop sharing. Does anybody have any questions about the program? Will this flyer be published on social media so we can share with our orgs? Aaron, that's a very good question. I believe this will. However, I also have sent it to SGA already. So if
I'll post it.
yeah, you know, like, and I don't mind sharing it again, so we can do that. The other part is all you would have to do is just email me. Once you email me, I'll send you the form, and it's a very simple form, and you fill it out and you go from there.
So how does buddies differ from ONSP is a question you have in the chat.
So I believe ONSP is orientation, is the new program, right? So this has nothing to do with orientation at all. This has more to do with imagine you're going for study abroad, right? And you're studying in Italy, but you're like, oh, I don't know anything about Italy, and I want to make friends in Italy. And a university have a program over there to help you find friends. So that's what this program is like for international students who are coming to UATL to study. So you would have an opportunity to basically learn about them and be in this program. Again, this is not part of orientation. This wouldn't be, I don't know why would it be with orientation in the first place. I think orientation leaders has different responsibilities and duties, whereas the buddies is more for one-to-one connection.
Oh, another question. Is it only on Thursdays?
So it is. So it starts on February 4th. Ends around on February, the last week of February. So it's on Thursdays at 2 p.m. The only date that's not on Thursday is the trip to NASA, which is on Friday. But other than that, it is on Thursday at 2 p.m.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Feroz. I see Mr. Denny here. Hello. How are you? Would you like to share your screen with your presentation?
Certainly. Yeah. Let's see if I'm okay. First time it said it was, there it is. Okay. And all right, so hopefully you all can see this now. It says just dining plans.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, all right. So this is the presentation that I shared with the Student Dining Advisory Council in December. And we had a couple of conversations about this, and at the following of this presentation, and if there are any members present that are on that Dining Advisory Council, if they want to speak, I certainly encourage them to. But they did support this recommendation, though they had obviously a lot of conversation, and there are still a lot of challenges with our on-campus dining. And I'll talk to that a little bit later in this presentation, recognizing that I don't have clear cut, well, just do A, B, and C, and Bob's your uncle, it's solved. It's a complicated challenge, as our campus is in that transition stage of being large enough that we absolutely need a lot of our auxiliary operations on campus, parking being one of them, dining, the bookstore, a recreation and wellness center, and a residence hall. We are still predominantly a commuter campus, and our students have busy lives off of this campus. And so sticking around outside of class to use our auxiliary operations, in this case, our dining facility, is often less of a priority to our students when you look at all of the other things that they have trying to do. So within that, I'll start my presentation, that context, but recognize that all of our auxiliary operations are going to struggle as University of Houston Clear Lake makes this transition from being predominantly a transfer and commuter campus to being at least more on-campus residential operations and a larger population actually living on campus and so forth, which then would utilize and support our auxiliary operations to a greater extent. So the first slide is really what are our current dining plans relative to what does it really cost to eat for a semester. We have 3 plans. One of them is required for anybody living in Hunter Residence Hall, and the other 2 are optional. And the first one is $1,000 semester. And by and large, the bulk of students who live in Hunter Residence Hall choose that plan. And my biggest challenge with that is I think it really falsely represents what does it cost to eat per semester if you're going to live on campus. It gives the indication, even though we tell people that you cannot eat for $1,000 a semester, I believe that that's still the message it clearly sends. And one of the challenges of it being as low as it is that when students who are receiving financial aid get their financial aid, they can count in their cost of living the full $1,400 or whatever plan they use and apply their financial aid to it. If a student were to select only the $1,000 per semester, that is what they could apply their financial aid to. And when it runs out, then they have to find other funding sources to be able to continue to eat. And if you look at what it really costs, if you look at just a couple of options, and this doesn't matter where you're eating at, if it's whatever you're spending per meal, but on average, if you're eating 2 meals a day, but 7 days a week, and you're spending $10 a meal, and I'm making the assumption that if you're eating fewer meals, you're probably spending a little bit more per meal because you're eating larger meals, and therefore, it's over $2,000 a semester for this full 16-week semester. And if you're eating 3 meals a day, then you can possibly have smaller meals. You're still well above $2,000, or not well above, but you're above $2,000 per semester. And then if you really restrict and you eat 10 meals a week, which is maybe most days you're eating 2 meals a day, but some days of the week you're eating only 1 meal a day, and kind of really restricting what you eat to be able to eat for on average $9 a meal, you're still at $1,400 per semester. If you then move on and take a look at, well, what are some of the other meal plans that on other campuses in our area? And University of Houston, and I recognize University of Houston is not really an apples to oranges comparison to our campus, obviously. And these meal plans are not an apples to oranges comparison, because all of these are swipe meal plans. So in other words, you go into the dining area with a tray, you get whatever you get on it, and it's one swipe on your card, and you get so many swipes with these meal plans. And so you could stack your tray up pretty heavy, or you could have pretty light, depending on what you planned. And the platinum is even an unlimited number of swipes plan. But even there, their least expensive plan is still above $2,000 per semester, recognizing that that is really what it costs to eat. If you look at University of Houston, Victoria, they do have a minimum plan that is at almost $1,500 per semester, and that's 160 meals. That's kind of relatively comparison to the 10 meal plan that I showed at $9. Again, this is a swipe plan because University of Houston, Victoria has significantly more students living on their campus than we do, even though they're a substantially smaller campus. And they have a more traditional dining facility where you go in, get your tray, swipe your card, and then leave to go eat. We don't have that built into our plan. Looking at the next one, some other campuses around us, Texas Southern University, and they have a number of meals per week and their minimum cost. But again, it's still $1,400 is their least expensive plan. And so, the real problem with students' concerns and comments and complaints of the patio cafe stems around the lack of volume of business that happens inside the studio or the patio cafe. And the complaints really revolve around two significant areas. One, meals are too expensive. You can certainly eat there for right around $10 a meal. A hamburger is $5.70 something. Fries are $1.99. So you're looking at $8 for fries and a hamburger, and then you add a soft drink or something like that, and you're sitting at at $10 or less for that meal. And certainly at some places you can get less. McDonald's, but I think you'll get less of a burger than what's at the patio cafe, but that's a subjective or valuation. And then certainly the next challenge of students is primarily that there aren't enough selections. And both of those problems really stem from the lack of volume that we have going through the patio cafe. And that's really a challenge that, the patio cafe operated by Chartwells tries to offer a hot entree every day, and then things from the grill, either burgers, sandwiches, wraps, things like that, and then from the deli, so you can get cold sandwiches and things like that. They have a series of grab and go, all of those things, and they base it on projected volumes. But even if you do the hot entree and maybe they estimate that 50 people will eat that in a given day, but if only 10 come, well, they still prepared food for 50. So those are a lot of the challenges in any restaurant or dining operation. Is volume solves most of those things. So what are some of the things we're trying to do to address our volume? Well, the first thing obviously was the projections when Chartwells bid on this business was that starting in FY19, we would have Hunter Residence Hall open, and that it had 280 beds, and that the projection was that it would be relatively full in that first year. Well, one of the first challenges that Hunter Residence Hall didn't open in 2019. It didn't open until 2020. Or I'm sorry, it opened in 2019. It was supposed to open in 2018. My apologies. Fall of 18 was when Hunter Residence Hall was supposed to originally open. It didn't open until fall of 19. So a year of it not being open when Chartwells had bid on the promise that it would be open. And then in our first year, we had only 60 plus residents in Hunter Residence Hall. Really a function of that construction was so late that leading up to the semester when students could have looked at Hunter Residence Hall and decided if they wanted to live there, the building was under construction and nobody could see it. And we did have a little demo in the main lobby of the SSCB, but that really didn't go very far to selling the building. The next year, pre-pandemic, we had over 100 confirmed residents as early as March for this last fall semester. But as soon as the pandemic really became clear, that 100 students dropped down to only 60. We're back up to 70 students in the spring, but still far below. We would have been, I would project, well above 150, even close to 200 students with that early registration being so high as early as March. of already over 100 students. But then that evaporated as students asked for their deposit back and chose to stay at home and take classes online as opposed to coming and living on our campus. Some other things so the hope is that our primary volume will be fixed in a few years as we continue to grow enrollment and as students, the number of students living in Hunter Residence Hall continues to grow and we get closer to that maximum of 280 occupied beds by students. In the interim, we've done a lot of things. We have the Boost mobile app, and I really hope that this is not the first time anybody here is hearing about the Boost mobile app. It's an app you can download from either the App Store or the Apple Store. Go ahead and register, and as you register, if you're living in Hunter Residence Hall, you will put your declining balance account on it, so that then you can just go online on your mobile app on your phone, order whatever you want. You'll get an email that your order's been received, and then when your food is ready, you'll get another email. It takes about 15 minutes for your food to be ready. So if it's in the morning, you're driving to campus or before your class, and you want to pick that up and then grab the food and go to your class or your study group or whatever is bringing you to campus, or if your class is about to end and you want to go ahead and order, and then it's waiting for you as you leave class, or you've got a very short break between classes, whatever the scenario is, the Boost mobile app should facilitate being able to not have to go down, stand in line, get your food, wait for it to be cooked, wait for it to pay for it, and then now you've run out of time. There is an advertisement for the Boost mobile app. It's not surprisingly is custom for University of Houston. And so we're working with Chartwells to get it customized for Clear Lake. And then we'll post it to our web and start advertising it around. We're working with Chartwells to do some other advertisements and things like that. We've done substantial renovation to the patio cafe. Obviously, first the coffee shop that I hope everybody's had a chance to experience. And then we did new flooring, lighting, new furniture in the patio cafe. And this summer, we will do even more additional work. Our goal is to wall off the food area from the dining area, enabling us to keep the dining area open when the food area is closed, and possibly even going to more of a swipe versus a declining balance model in the future. Again, all of those things to be able to grow the volume of sales, which will then allow us to lower costs and offer a better selection in the cafe. The last thing I want to share with this group is some of the financials and the background behind the patio cafe, and really an impetus as to trying to, one, and I really firmly believe this is the primary reason, to accurately reflect what it costs to eat per semester in the patio cafe, and not misleading students into believing that it's only going to be $1,000 for the semester. But then also addressing some of the financial challenges and not require that all of our students then have to subsidize the patio cafe, even if they only come to campus, have their classes, and then move on and don't utilize the patio cafe. And that is, like I said, in the long term, the volume. In the short term, we really have some challenges brought on by the delay of Hunter and the low enrollment in Hunter, but then really exacerbated with the pandemic. With that, I want to walk through and talk about this last slide, is that Chartwells has proposed and Chartwells is a contract for the entire system, and they have proposed modifying their contract relative to the University of Houston Clear Lake. Right now, the contract is such that Chartwells operates the patio cafe. So all of the dollars from people eating at the patio cafe, that's both the students in the Hunter Residence Hall, their declining dollars, and everybody else who buys food or drinks from the patio cafe, goes to Chartwells. They pay all the bills, they buy all the food, they pay all the labor costs and so on, and they pay the university a commission off of those operations. What they're proposing is to flip that, and basically University of Houston Clear Lake would receive all of the money from sales. We would pay all of the labor, pay for all the bills for food, and pay Chartwell's a small management fee for them to operate the patio cafe until, and it would stay that way until we get total annual sales above $1.2 million. Well, the path that was proposed and recommended, and projected for Chartwell's when they bid on our business was that we would be above $1.2 million. And how we get there is that we traditionally do about $400,000 a year in sales at the patio cafe. This was before the construction of the Hawk Energy Bar, but at the patio cafe and the coffee shop of about $400,000 a year. And that's just students, staff, and faculty eating at the patio cafe. And the anticipation is that post COVID-19, so fall of 2021, will be closer to a normal, and that will resume. We also do about $400,000 a year in catering, having Chartwell's come and provide food for various meals and events on campus, for which we pay for when those things happen. And then the final piece to get us above $1.2 million was really anticipated that the Hunter Residence Hall would be somewhere closer to that 280 residents at $1,000 per semester. That was a minimum, and that students would clearly choose to eat more than that. But because we haven't come anywhere near that in population, I feel fairly confident that we will make, post-pandemic, we will get back to 150 residents next year if students begin to feel confident in the spring and summer that we really are past the pandemic for next fall semester, and that our campus was going to resume to a more normal state. We're still a little early to make that prediction solidly, but that's the anticipation. That just as at a simple number of 150 students with that minimum 1,400 per semester, that alone plus a return to our more normal operations gets us above the 1.2, and we return to Chartwell's operating the patio cafe and the university getting a small commission, as opposed to, if we don't achieve that, then the risk is that the university is operating the cafe and that we're losing money. And the only way to make up that loss, there is no other path than that, is to use other dollars on campus to cover that. Because at the end of the day, if you lose money on a business operation, you have to still pay your bills. And so the options are one of two things. We shut down dining on campus and have none. And I feel strongly that does not serve any of our students, staff, or faculty, or that we make up that loss. And make up that loss, let's call it what it is that we're using every student's tuition dollars to partially fund that loss in that auxiliary operation. And that's not desirable. I'm trying to find us a path to not do that. In the long term, I feel absolutely confident that maybe even as short as 5 years from now, but certainly 10 years from now, as this university continues to transition to be less dominated by commuting students and more dominated by students that are living on campus, and we have a more engaging campus, that our auxiliary operations are not going to be a problem. They're all going to be doing just fine, and they're going to be contributing money back to the university as opposed to requiring subsidy. But at its present, they're not. And we can choose one of two paths. We can choose to subsidize those auxiliary operations or close them. I guess that's really two paths. And the third being, or figure out a way to get them to a profitable status so that they don't have to be subsidized by other students. I'm recommending that we move to a path that gets them to a profitable operation. And I still go back to this, primarily, I believe we are misinforming students by telling them that you can eat on campus for $1,000 a semester. If you look at, I don't have a lot of data because I really only have one semester of usage where we had Hunter Residence Hall open and pre-pandemic, and that was fall of 2019. And you can look at what happened is our sales were at the patio cafe were way above normal for the start of that semester, and we made it to about halfway through the semester with our sales being way above normal and well on our path to being profitable for the year. And then about mid-October, they just went off a cliff. And what happened? Well, the students living in Hunter Residence Hall had spent their $1,000 per semester in their declining dollars, and they stopped eating at the patio cafe. They didn't stop eating, I hope, but they stopped eating at the patio cafe. And that speaks to the challenges that we've had with the patio cafe, is that students feel the prices are too high and that the selection isn't sufficient. And like I said, the alternative is either try and get more volume there so that we can improve the selection and lower the costs, or just scrap dining on our campus altogether and tell everybody to go figure it out because we don't offer dining. With that,
Mr. Denny?
Yep.
Okay, so I just want to share some of the things that are happening in the chat with you. So
Please.
yeah.
I'm ready to stop sharing if you're fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. And so the conversation.
Yes, someone said, I believe Morgan said, this discussion of the patio cafe does not include the coffee cafe, correct?
I'm saying the patio cafe because that's the largest area of operations, but it includes all the Hawk Energy Bar, the coffee shop, and the patio cafe. It's all inclusive. They're all operated by Chartwells.
Okay, and then Marlene says, gift card giveaways for the patio cafe and maybe even a social media hashtag where students can take and upload pictures could help boost sales.
Absolutely, and that's some of the things we're trying to do now. The gift cards, let's be honest, those gift cards still have to be purchased. And so we're purchasing it with university dollars, and university dollars are by and large 60% is students' tuition. So we would still be purchasing those gift cards, though it'd be a very small expenditure, and it would be, if you worked it out per student, a penny or so. But just being clear that's who would still be paying for those things.
So we would basically pay for a gift card to be randomly given to one of us.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't see it, but anytime the university pays for anything, and to have gift cards, we have to pay for them. Anytime the university pays for them, well, who is the university paying for them? Well, it's our students, because we get about 35% of our funding from the state, and that's going to continue to decline. And the rest of it is made up really about 65% from student tuition and fees, and that other small percentage, that's miscellaneous other revenue that we generate. And we're absolutely trying to increase that, but our primary mission is delivering academic programs, and we suffer if we take too much of our attention away from that.
All right, this sounds good. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Denny before we move on?
The last thing I would like to add, and my sincere apologies, you all really should have been hearing this in fall semester. COVID-19 and many other things have made this a challenging year for you, of course, but also for administration here on campus. And so you're hearing this now, and I apologize for that. And I will come back at your next meeting, and I'll ask any questions that didn't get asked today. Please get those to your SGA leadership. They'll get them to me, and I will come back at your next meeting and answer any of those questions, and then ask for a formal response from SGA. Do you support this? Do you not support this? Because ultimately, I'm going to have to take this to President Blake and ask her, is she going to enact this? And one of the things President Blake absolutely wants to know is, how did the students respond to it? What is the students' voice in this increase?
Questions here in the chat, right? So, and Mr. Randall said, students living on campus may compensate for a lack of food options at Patio Cafe by grocery shopping at local markets. If the cafe closes indefinitely, that would increase students' transportation costs. Would parking and transportation be reliable if more local shopping was necessary?
I'm not sure what is meant by would parking and transportation be reliable.
Like probably the shuttle service.
We run the shuttle service once a week now for grocery shopping, and obviously Chartwells argues with us, well, you're incentivizing people to not eat at the Patio Cafe by giving them that option. But we feel we need to give a balanced set of options to students. We would continue that service we'd be challenged if it needed to go up considerably because we only have one shuttle. I mean, there's our challenge. We only have one shuttle.
Yeah, so we have a few more points as well. This stuff's coming in. So something we can all do is eat on campus when we can and encourage others to do the same. This is great, but I feel like the quality of food could also improve.
I firmly believe that I want to incentivize people to eat on campus, and to do that, I need to help Chartwells get to a higher volume, and therefore lowering their costs and increasing their selection. They have done a lot of things to increase their selections. They have a lot more vegan and vegetarian options and things like that. They have done a lot of that. It's still expensive to do that, so they're not necessarily cheap, but they do have some improved options. And through our student advisory council, they meet once a month to absolutely talk about what are the options and what is the desires of students to expand and increase, and they're being very responsive to that.
So we also have
there are 3 residential students on the advisory committee and 3 residential students, or 3 residential and 3 commuter students. So you're please more than we recommend that y'all reach out to us so that way we can bring what you have to say to our meetings once a month.
this is why you join committees, guys.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yes,
we've done a
please.
lot of work to bring attention to Chartwells as far as the types of food and the cost, and all of these things have really been discussed at each meeting and in depth. We also have 2 voting staff members and 2 voting faculty members on that committee as well. So please let us know. And I left my contact information in the chat, so you can email me or reach out to me via Teams.
I want to stress, if you remember, Jay just said, there are 6 students and 4 staff and faculty on that committee. So the student voice is driving that committee, but they need to hear the student voice.
Well, continuing on, Mr. Denny, why do you say that the amount that the university will receive from the state will decline?
I'll try and be very quick because I know you're dedicating me a lot of time already, and I appreciate it. As we go through to this next session, the state comptroller came out and projected most recently in December that because of the pandemic, the state will have about $2 billion in additional revenue over what it had last biennium. They, however, project that they need an additional $17 billion to keep funding flat, but increase funding to all state institutions based merely on population growth and inflation. So if any institution has to serve more people because the population of the state has grown, their costs are going to go up. And so the state recognizes they need to fund them at that higher level, and that really keeps services flat. So that additional 17 million in needs, and they only have $2 million to fund that 17 million. So while our actual dollars that go to total state higher education may not decrease, spread over more students in the system, it will decrease. And our share, I'm concerned, will go down because the primary driver is enrollment. They have a formula base that's count on your enrollment. I did get some data of other public institutions over the last 2 years, which is really, that's the comparator. And we're in the middle of the pack for enrollment growth relative to the other campuses. If we're below the middle of the pack, we will absolutely get less dollars. If we're in the middle of the pack or on the upper side of relative to other state institutions, we may get more dollars. However, our total enrollment has grown. Our mix of students has substantially changed. We are seeing far fewer graduate students in this biennium than we were 2 years ago, and far more undergraduate students in this census year than we were 2 years ago. And graduate students are funded at a substantially higher level than undergraduate students. So for those reasons, I fear that, and I won't know till May, but I am anticipating seeing our state funding dollars to go down. The second piece is that just historically, if you look over time, the state has not been able to keep pace with inflation alone in their funding to higher education. So every year, if our costs go up 2% based on relative inflation, and even if the state increases our funding, but it's only been 1% or so, well, their share of the total cost of funding this university continues to decline. Go back 20 years, we got 60% of our funding from the state. We now get 30%.
Mr.
That's the
Denny,
path.
I hate
Yes.
to interrupt
Yep.
you, but I'm just gonna go over a few more points in the chat and then just
Yep.
really quickly move on as we only have 15 minutes left. But thank you so much for your time and answering these questions. I hope we were able to get to all the questions that the students have asked. They did make a suggestion about a rewards program where every 10th coffee or sandwich or salad is free or half off to help boost sales. Also, somebody suggested expanding operating hours, which I think is really important because a lot of people have classes from 7 to 10 p.m. The cafe closes pretty early for students who have evening classes. I understand that costs labor, but even just the market area open for snacks could be an option. People like the idea of the rewards. Someone said if the cafe revenue doesn't increase to the amount we need, do you have a ballpark timeline students could expect tuition increases or the cafe closure?
Well, I'm going to do everything I can to not close the cafe. And as far as tuition increases, there's lots of reasons why tuition goes up. One of them, the primary being inflation, and two, the state's declining portion of that. So tuition is going to go up every year. I'm going to try and keep it at 2%, something that's manageable. And so you may never notice this specific impact of the patio cafe, but it will always be one of the factors, and admittedly, one of the lesser factors that causes tuition to go up. But tuition is probably going to have to go up every single year. It's my job to try and keep that as absolutely low as possible. And even ideally, I'd like to keep it at below the average inflation rate. That's a challenge, but that's things I'm working towards to trying to do.
Sounds great. Thank you all so much for your participation in this discussion. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much, Mr. Jenny, for coming. So lastly, we have Alina Thomas, or the Office of Student Involvement and Leadership, talking about the Student Orgs Expo. But before we go in, I really quickly want to take quorum. So actually, let me stop sharing my screen really quickly. If y'all can click the raise hand option if you are representing a student organization, that would be great. Yes, Morgan, I see you've done that. Just raise your hands, guys. Can someone count that, Alina? Sarah, Arif, are you representing a student org? Pablo?
We're at 18.
With everyone. Santosh, Marlene, Amanda, Aruna. So sorry if I mispronounce anyone's names. Aaron. I feel like we have people representing, like Timothy.
Somebody asked, like, how can they raise their hand option?
Oh. Okay. So you use the reactions button. Yeah, there's an emoji with, oh wait.
No, I think you have to click on the participant option, and against your name, you will see the raise hand option.
Honestly, I can't even find the raise hand option, but I hope y'all do.
If you're on your phone, if you go to more, and then there's an option at the top, it says raise or lower hand, depending on if it's raised or
Okay,
not.
we can do that. We're at 19 now.
If you're a member of the student organization, you can definitely represent your student org during quorum. That means you're getting credit for attendance. There's no reason why they would not want you to do that. Or
Okay, we're at 20.
I still don't have it even under more options.
I think for us, because we're co-hosts, you have to click on part. Oh wait, I don't know for co-hosts if we can see the raise hand option because I can't see it. But I do know for participants they can. Did you click on more in the bottom?
Hmm.
I clicked on more.
Mhm.
I have an Android, so more, and then there's a raise and lower hand option at the top.
Can do that.
So if you, I'm guessing, like if you can't find that raise hand option, you can literally either send a message to Hiba or Alina of saying like you're representing the student orgs.
Or just raise your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, the reason why we're doing that is because it automatically counts for us. So then we can see like presently who's available because it gets confusing when people send messages.
Mhm.
So right now we're at 21.
Thank you for raising your hand, man. I really appreciate turning y'all's cameras on. It's so kind. Okay, Kumar, Sarah, Arif, Amanda Ju, Santosh, Marlene, Pilar. I feel like there's some student organization representatives here that just aren't paying attention. But well, Aaron, this is our final count. Going once, going twice, thrice. Alina, what's the count?
20.
20. Okay, so we're not even halfway there, guys. So it's going to be really hard to vote on these constitutional amendments that we're trying to pass and fund requests. So please keep in mind, if you're an organization that's planning on submitting a fund request, we can't vote on anything with only 20 people here. But that's it for me. Now we are going to have Patrick Cardenas, my favorite advisor.
Yes, good afternoon, student leaders, and welcome to the first day of the spring semester 2021. So we're really excited to see everybody here. Thank you all for attending the SGA meeting, our first meeting of the semester. As Hippa mentioned, it is important for us all to convene and conduct important business as you all represent not only your student organizations, but the student body when it comes to advocacy and change on campus. So please, if you have other students, classmates, schoolmates, friends that are leaders of other organizations, please encourage them to send a representative so we can meet quorum and conduct very important business as SGA is looking to continue to evolve and transform along with the institution. So before we go into announcements, I wanted to publicly announce that we have new staff that has joined the Office of Student Involvement and Leadership, some existing with different titles and some brand new. I want to thank all the student employees that have worked alongside with our staff as we were short-staffed in the fall semester, down quite a few positions, and we were very ambitious in securing requests to hire and fill up to about 4 vacancies in our office. And so we did so successfully with the remaining staff that we had here, along with the student employees, Alina Thomas being one of them as the peer advisor for SGA and CAB. And so Alina, I do appreciate all that you have done helping us out at a time that we had less staff in the office, and it shows that even our student employees were able to help us out in areas or pockets that needed assistance so that we can continue externally to have programs and offer support to our registered student organizations and the student body as a whole. So thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for all the support that you've given us as we went to expand our team to what it is today. So I would like to welcome our new first as in the first associate director in the Student Involvement and Leadership Office, Erica Njoku. She is started this semester as our associate director, and she will help me lead this office, this team, and the initiatives that Student Involvement and Leadership will have as it relates to the support it gives to the Division of Student Affairs and the university as a whole. She'll also be advising the Campus Activities Board and working alongside with me this year as she will transition into the advising role of SGA going into next year. We also have Mohammed Khan, who has joined us as the new coordinator for community engagement, and you'll hear from him shortly about an upcoming event, so we welcome him as well. And our very own Dylan Nash, who was our former coordinator for organizations and activities, is now serving in the role as assistant director and will oversee all the leadership programming, both the existing programming that we've offered, as well as new initiatives and programming to better support our fee-funded and sponsored student organization leaders, our general registered student organization leaders, and providing new leadership opportunities to the general student body to ensure that our students are successful and leading our communities and areas of their field. And I think that's about it.
Go Hawks! I'm trying to make this a thing, guys. It's not happening. All right. Well,
Can
So
I
I'll turn
make
it over to Alina, who has announcements. Sorry, I
Okay.
thought that was a clean segue, but I'll go ahead and help with that.
Okay, quick announcement, everyone. We do have our upcoming Orgs Expo. We have 2 different dates, so I will quickly share my screen to show you what that will look like. 1 second. All right. So we have it on 2 days. We have a virtual expo and we have an in-person expo. Our virtual Student Orgs Expo will take place on January 27th on Wednesday, that's next week, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. All organizations can sign up. You should have seen that in your Manage page. It'll pop up. And basically all you have to do is sign up, put a short description of what your org is about and a link to either a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting, something like that. So when student orgs, or not student orgs, when student representatives or students in general want to talk to you guys, they can click on the link and you will be present to meet with them. Then we also have our in-person, okay, how do I move to the next? Uh-oh, this is bad. Okay, wait, sorry, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. We have our in-person expo as well on Thursday of January 28th. Okay, sorry guys, I don't know what, there we go. Okay, it's right here, sorry, just disappeared on me. But it is taking place on Thursday, January 28th. The information is available on Get Involved. All you have to do is sign up using the link right here, and it is taking place in Campus Rec. We will be social distancing and there is not any assigned seating, but we do expect you guys to, respect the social distancing. And there are like requirements that we expect you to follow. That was all mentioned in the form as well. And the last day to sign up for the in-person expo is on Monday. That's next Monday, January 25th at 4 p.m. And yeah, that's about it. And I do know that Dylan and Mohammed have some another announcement as well, so I'll hand it over to them.
Hey all, thank you so much for having us. My name is Mohammed Khan. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I wanted to share that tomorrow will be my first event here actually at UH Clear Lake, but one of the first events in our office, which is the Witness History UHCL's Inauguration Watch Party. There'll be different modes of participation, so if you are on campus or feel like coming to campus, we'll be sitting socially distanced in the SoCal, the Student Organization Center and Lounge. I'm actually impressed that I got that right. But sit in SoCal and we'll watch that social distance. We'll be trivia questions. We'll just kind of build some community with each other. There's some goodie bags that will be there as well that I'm working on right now with the rest of the team. If you can't join in person, then we welcome you to join us through Zoom. You can follow along on our social media pages and find out more about the event on UHCL's Get Involved platform. I don't know if I missed anything.
No, that was great, Mohammed. We also have on Thursday the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service event that our office is partnering with the Office of Student Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to provide for you all. So if you haven't signed up and you're interested in doing some great community service for our campus, then please do so. And you can do that on UHCL Get Involved as well.
Sorry, I was on mute. Is there anybody else that's going? I think Erica, do you want to introduce yourself really quickly before I end the meeting? I have like 30 seconds left.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you. Apologies, I didn't have a webcam on my other computer, so I had to get together, but nice to meet you all. Excited to be joining you all this year. And yes, thank you for the warm welcome.
I'm so excited to work with you guys. Y'all probably aren't, but I am. All right. And I think that pretty much the open forum is now, but I'm actually going to go ahead and skip open forum since we have reached the end of our meeting time. If you do have any questions or comments, feel free to email us or message us. If there's any last words anybody wants to say, go ahead and put it in the chat. Instagram, Snapchat, not Snapchat, Instagram and Twitter. They're on this screen right here. The quote of the day is: "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education." Martin Luther King Jr. Woo! All right. Thank you guys so much. It was a great first meeting.
Thanks, Hiba.